This is The Righteous View with your hosts, Adia Bayes, Deborah Hoskins, and Christina McCormick.
Shalom, shalom. I turned that off kind of quick, didn't I?
You was ready.
Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Good afternoon, some places. Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. We want to say welcome to the Righteous View. We welcome you to our weekly podcast. We'll focus on topics regarding women of all ages. Our mission is to foster righteous, open dialogue on topics that have been considered taboo within our social communities. We want to cultivate open and healthy discussions between mothers and daughters, husbands and wives, mature women and young women. Our goal is to educate and provide factual information to these demographics concerning our biological, psychological, emotional, and spiritual existence. So I want to introduce my co-host, my beautiful co-host, as always, Christina McCormick and Deborah Hoskins. Hey, we got to get those little sound of shh, the applause, the applause. And we have a professional guest tonight, which is Lori Byers. Lori Byers. We are excited to have her on so that she will help us go through this topic tonight. Hello, Lori. So I want to introduce her really quickly. Lori comes to us tonight with a BS degree in health education and promotion with a minor in science education. She has 12 years of research experience from East Carolina University, Winston-Salem State University, whoop, whoop, Wake Forest Institute for Regenerative Medicine. Now, her lab focus, she is a researcher at the bench researcher and works in a active laboratory and has for some 12 years. When she was at ECU, her focus in that lab was microbiology and immunology. She studied viral exposures and their effects on cells and mouse models. Then at Winston-Salem State, her focus was genetics with a side of microbiology. She studied the reversal of antibiotic resistance in yeast cells using genetically modified carrier viruses. Okay, so some of those words I didn't understand. No. Then at W Firm, she is now studying and into diabetes research and bioengineering. Studied functionality of insulin producing cells before and after damage and or protection. Also built and tested structures to support growth and maintenance of biological specimen. We want to say welcome to Lori and our podcast tonight and looking forward to diving into this topic tonight. Welcome, Lori. I want to also say that she is my daughter.
Yes.
We're excited about having her come on in a professional position and be able to share with us concerning our topic tonight.
Yes, I'm excited of tonight's topic and welcome, Lori. I am excited and inquisitive and really just looking forward to what you're going to bring to the table tonight, and I'm really glad about that. And thank you so much for taking time out to join us. I am
Mhm.
really excited about this. We want to encourage you, those who are listening in, we want to encourage you to tune in on Thursday evenings at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here for thought-provoking topics that will hopefully stimulate conversations that are sometimes hard and uncomfortable.
Uh-uh.
I don't know what that was. However,
They
yeah.
about to get us. All right. We know we in hot water, y'all, so we just gonna keep on going.
And that sound like boiling water, didn't it?
Like the hot water boiling, like
That
yeah.
sound like the
We
boiling
gonna
water.
get 'em. We are live on Facebook after He Break Awaken and The Righteous View. And if you missed the podcast, you can view it and past podcasts on our YouTube channel at The Righteous View. If you enjoy the topics and the discussions have helped you in any way, please subscribe, like, and
Yes.
hit the notification button.
Absolutely. So we're continuing tonight on our topic, the narcissistic spirit over our spiritual assemblies. So last week we discussed the misogynistic spirit that has engulfed our assemblies. And we identified the difference between power and authority. Also, we identified that spirit, misogynistic spirit, inhabits both male and female. It is not gender specific. It can inhabit a male, a woman, or a man. And we also clarify the difference between sexism and misogyny. So we know that misogyny is a hatred of the female, against female, not just a prejudice, but an ingrained, a systematic, ingrained hatred for against women. And then sexism is a prejudice, is a stereotype, it's a discrimination, typically against women or on the basis of sex. So our discussion this week is going to spotlight on the seed. So, who can lay claim to the seed and where does it come from biologically? So, last week, Deborah brought up a great point and really gave us a great, uh, uh, I guess, like jump into this topic tonight when she began talking about the seed and going into Genesis and looking at it from a biblical, a scriptural standpoint. So we are going to just jump into this. We have Lori here tonight, and we're going to look at it from a biological standpoint. As we know, as I always say, Father Yahweh is the great biologist. He's the great chemist. He's the great physicist. He's the great horticulturalist. He's the great botanist. He's the great natural scientist. He created all of it. So when we look at the world and creation, that there are, we typically sometimes from a scriptural standpoint get kind of narrow minded. When we can broaden our understanding to see that all of science declares the greatness of our Elohim, of our God. So we're going to let Lori just jump in and begin kind of open up with some talking points. And since she is the biologist here, the professional, we are going to give her the floor right now. Welcome, Lori.
Welcome, Lori.
Yay. Thank you so much. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yes.
great. Thank you so much for having me on, especially to talk about my nerdy stuff, the things I love to do for no reason whatsoever. um, but this is truly something that has become more and more dear to my heart as it relates to adults and the education that we kind of miss just a little bit when we are in actual school. Just thinking about those times, from kindergarten to 12th grade, it's a whole lot going on in life during that time, and not we are not necessarily taking in all of the random things that the teachers are teaching us. And biology or science kind of tends to be one of those things. It's really not that important at that time, even though it's happening to you
Right.
your entire life.
Right.
So I will just say that my desire is to help the house of Israel to unzip and rezip. When you have a zipper that is misaligned, you have to unzip it and zip it back, right? So I think that we have some things that are just misaligned just simply because of human nature. And I want to help us have the relationship with one another, men and women, that will foster healthy relationships, healthy generations, healthy lifestyles. So, all of that being said, I just have a few definitions I'd like to throw out there just to start a baseline so we can all build from there with the coming conversation. So, the first one, as Avia has read, misogyny. My definition, or the definition from Oxford Dictionary, reads the dislike of, contempt of, or ingrained prejudice against women. Okay. Analogy is our next definition. An analogy is a comparison between two things, typically for the purpose of explanation or clarification, or it's a correspondence or partial similarity, a correspondence or a partial similarity, a thing that is comparable to something else in significant ways. Okay. So that's analogy, something that's comparable to something else in a significant way. The next word is seed. The definition for seed, according to Oxford, is a flowering plant's unit of reproduction. It is capable of developing into another plant. Definition number 2, according to Oxford Dictionary, a man's semen. Okay, so seed is a plant's reproductive unit or a man's semen, according to the dictionary. All right, the last definition is equivalence. Equivalence means the condition of being equal or equivalent in value, worth, function, or status. So equivalents mean two things are equal, essentially. Okay. Now that we have the definitions out of the way, I would like to look at some keywords within the definitions that I think are important regarding this conversation. So, keywords for misogyny: ingrained prejudice. Ingrained prejudice. In my opinion, that's the important, that's the operative phrase. Um, Words turn into actions. So something being ingrained has to start somewhere. It has to start somewhere. And usually the words are where it starts. If you just hear it growing up as a child, they are still words being spoken. Okay. So that's how we get ingrained prejudice. All right. So the next important or keywords for analogy would be partial or insignificant respects.
Mm-hmm.
Partial or significant respects. That means that if you make an analogy,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't fit entirely. It's not a perfect fit. It doesn't mean that every single portion of it is relevant to what you're trying to explain or clarify.
Mm-hmm.
So there are things that do fit, there are things that don't fit. Okay. Uh, Keywords in the definition of seed: reproductive unit.
Mm-hmm.
Reproductive unit. It makes me sad that the dictionary itself has the word a man's semen in there. So now I have just learned that I have an ought against the entire English language and all of the dictionaries that have ever been written, because that's not true. So I got to figure out who I need to fight. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Who I need to write a letter um, to take that out of there, because it is the reproductive unit.
Right.
Males and females have a reproductive unit: sperm and egg. Okay, last one: equivalence. The let's see, the operative term, or the term that is doing the work in the definition of equivalence, is being equal. Being equal. That means they mean the same thing, or they hold the same position. They hold the same value, the same, meaning they are the same. So sometimes analogy and equivalence, they're not comparable. Okay. So now that we have those out of the way, I'll stop and ask, does anybody have anything they want to say, contribute, ask, or whatever?
I just wondering why they wrote that semen in there, because anybody that's watching, hey y'all, you type in seed and you do not get semen without when you type in
Yeah.
seed. and and so that's what we're talking about. um Remember, on the last broadcast I talked about how this land that we are in, North America, is
Mm-hmm.
based on Greek and Roman culture that is
Right.
very misogynistic. So
Correct.
they are creating words,
Mm-hmm.
they are putting their misogynistic spin
Mm-hmm.
on the definition. So this
Mm-hmm.
is why we get words that carry a very misogynistic term.
Deep.
It is just the way that
Connotation.
it is. So
Right.
before people start going off, remember what I said. This
Yes.
is a Greek and Roman culture influence. So when
Right.
we look up the words in
Right.
the English language, they are going to be laced with very misogynistic terminology.
Terminology. And as I'm thinking about it also, shalom everyone. As I'm thinking about it also, here in Ghana, after we went through, this is why it's so good to have these conversations and go to the word, and go to the etymology of the word, because that will help us also to get an understanding when we know the culture of the people and of the time that this word was even produced. So I'm going to
Mhm.
stop saying that Ghana or African cultures are misogynistic, because I don't think that that fits. I think it's more sexist.
There you go.
um,
Mm.
that there's
Yeah,
not a hatred
no,
for women. As a matter of fact, they love
yeah,
their women. There is a understanding and a love for women as being the providers, the nurturers and producers and of life. Um, but there is a sometimes a discrimination or a stereotype
Yes.
that will say, "Oh, you're a woman. Yeah, you don't know this," or kind of like that. So it's more sexist than it is misogynistic
Right.
because it's definitely not. I don't see where it's a hatred or against uh, 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 females.
Something Lori said, and I'm kind of with you as you explained the definition of a seed, and even something you mentioned prior to us coming online when you said that the seed all in itself is in inclusive in essence, that it can produce of itself in essence. Am I right? You said it's everything there regarding the seed. Reason I say that is because when you mentioned about them, the definition that Oxford, is stating that the sperm is a seed. Without the egg, it cannot
Hmm.
be a seed, from
Correct.
what you had explained prior, because that's just part of completing a seed,
Right.
because you need
Correct.
the egg with the sperm to produce a seed to
Correct.
then reproduce.
Right.
And just as Avia had said, as she spoke about how you mentioned that I brought in the beginning, and then how you talked about the creator, who is the ultimate scientist, the one who created all things, and no one is above, because
Hmm.
everything is derived from his creation, because we are all of his creation. And so
Hmm.
he is the creator of even the seed, and how it is mentioned. And I just wanted to go back there in Genesis, as you mentioned here in Genesis 3. And
Okay.
now this is the creator, the most high, who now
Uh-huh.
establishes this, when he says after the fall, after the
Oh.
sin, regarding the serpent and the woman. Am I right? When he
Hmm.
said that there would be enmity, meaning a hostility, an open hostility, one where they'll never get along, right?
Hmm.
Correct.
So it says between what? The serpent and the woman. Am I right?
Right.
Then further it says, and between your seed, that of the serpent, and it says, and her seed.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
It say his, the male, it says her seed.
See.
So for it to be her seed, that means the semen and the egg has to produce that seed, which is now what? Within her. Am I right?
Yes.
Right.
Because now it's a place where now it's complete. As you
Hmm.
said, a seed is one that is complete. Am I
Hmm.
right? Isn't that what you said, Lori?
Yep.
So in essence, now this is the creator, this is the most high. And I love it because we have to understand you can't have one without the other. So the
Right.
semen can't be the seed. It's got
Right.
to be the semen and the egg together, or however
The
that which creates the seed. And that's
correct.
what the Most High is saying when he says, your seed and her seed,
First.
right?
Yep.
Will you in essence, the seed, your offspring, and her seed, it says, shall fatally bruise, and then it talks about it will bruise, the head, meaning it will fatally destroy it, fatally bruise it, as that serpent will just, only bruise the heel. It's not, it can't kill it, but she can kill, it's going to kill the head. But all in all, what I just wanted to bring out is he said her seed.
Her seed.
That's what the word says. Her seed. Not
Hmm.
his. When it mentions his seed, it's talking about the serpent.
Right.
It says between that serpent and her seed. So it means her seed is from both the male and the female. together produces that seed. I just wanted to bring that out. Love it, love it. I'm with you. All right. You can you make a petition. I'll sign it.
Right. We will send that. You need to change. There's an error in your definition. And we petition that you change it. And you know what? We need to make change like that because that's not correct. Um, and when I think about it, because just as we were talking before, if you want to make bread and you have flour on this side and you have water on this side. Is that bread? It's not bread until you put the water and the flour together. You can sit there and look at that flour and water all day and say, boy, I sure would like to have some bread. It's not going to become bread until you put them together and you put them in the oven and you bake them. So we really have, yes, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
No, I was just going to say,
just as Lori is sitting there, she is what? The seed from you and
absolutely.
And Rabbi. Am I right?
Exactly.
She is what? That which has been produced. She's
right.
the seed. Because even in scripture it says that he will bless your seed and your seed's seed. Am I right? The generation, right. They are the seeds. So semen can never be the seed.
You can't just use.
That's all I'm saying. You know.
Semen. Yeah. Yeah.
I agree 100%. So after fertilization, so when the sperm and the egg come together, it's not even considered a seed after that. At that point, biologically or in scientific terms, it's no longer called like just a seed. It then goes into other names, zygotes, blah, 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 all of these things. But I think what has happened is we've gotten so used to using terms interchangeably when we mean different things.
Okay.
Because I do not disagree with calling children seed, because right. That is a metaphor. That is an analogy. That is those are the generations that's going forward. My problem lies in the fact that we have cornered the market, or that someone has cornered the market for the semen.
Right.
What? You need both of them.
Right.
That's not a seed. That's a gamete. That is a reproductive unit.
Absolutely.
That is a cell, literally one cell. One egg is one cell. One sperm is one cell.
Yes. Right. And there we go with the chromosomes. It takes 46 chromosomes to make a human being. You can't make a human being with just 23 come from the mom, 23 come from the dad. But if you
don't have both, you can't make
a human. You don't have both of them, you don't have a human.
Right.
So
exactly.
That's where we get to the logical part of, and this is what I love about bringing the science in to it, because it helps it to make sense. So from a physical standpoint, and as we continue to, I think this is one of the major issues when we start in our spiritual communities, when we start to talk about this hierarchy, and really, truthfully, I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out why that is so important when we in our spiritual communities. Why is it so important that I'm over you, I'm superior over you, I'm authority over you, I have dominion over you? Why is that so important? Head, I'm your head. I'm your head, and not pinpointing. And I don't want to sound like um man bashing. I mean, I have a husband, so I don't want to man. I'm not want to sound like I'm trying to man bash. What I'm trying to say is I don't understand why that is so weighty in so many assemblies when it's not weighty in the Torah. It's not weighty in the scriptures. And as we went through last week and talked about um, how leadership or authority many times was given to a woman, even when she had a husband. So I'm just, it's not weighty in the scriptures from the Most High. But I wonder why in our assemblies it's so weighty,
I,
for
you,
you know.
Mm-hmm.
I, you know, the thing that I'm finding most interesting is that this is not just a Torah versus non-Torah
Right.
Mm-mm.
thing. No, this is worldwide. This is men,
Absolutely.
women, period.
Right.
So
Right.
my desire is to look at the world as I see it. The world as I see it. Because the Most High created the world.
The world.
He
Yes.
didn't just create just one little people over there.
No, he.
No, he created us all. So there
Mhm.
are things that we all have in common physically, emotionally, spiritually, that can be addressed. And I
Correct.
think this is one of those things. And I am so happy to have this conversation because as I've gotten older, I realize that misinformation is one of those things that really, oh, it burns my biscuits. It grinds my gears. It uses all the toilet paper. It does every bad thing to me.
Leaves the top on
Misinformation.
your face.
Yes. It makes me want to flip tables because how can you effectively navigate the world and make informed decisions if you have misinformation, if you have the wrong information?
Mhm. Well,
So,
that's what's wrong with the world.
Mm-hmm. Right.
agreed, agreed.
What's wrong with the
So,
world.
just my thought is that misinformation is absolutely necessary for controlling the masses, and
Mm-hmm.
it is a driving factor. Misinformation and just information in general shapes beliefs. It shapes ideas. It has real world impacts on entire societies, the entire globe. Um, and it can lead. Misinformation can lead to division.
Right.
It leads to pain on both
Mhm.
sides. It leads to miscommunication.
Mhm.
It leads to so many things that we don't necessarily want. Um, so as I was saying earlier, I'm finding that I really enjoy teaching adults about our bodies
Mhm.
as we can understand it a little bit better than we
Mhm.
could back in the day, in primary school.
Mhm.
Um, So, why do we not inform ourselves about our reproductive processes?
Mhm.
Why not? And if you're a woman going through reproductive processes, whatever it is, going through life, you would inform yourself about what's going on with you, right?
Mhm.
If you're a man, you're going through your reproductive processes and all of these things, and you're trying to figure out what's going on with you, you would inform yourself, right? So
Mhm.
then why does it change when the two of us come together? How do I not know the reproductive cycle of a man? I'll say of my husband. I don't have a husband. I'm not married, but in a hypothetical situation, why do I not know the reproductive cycle of my husband? Why does my husband not know my reproductive cycle?
Right.
Why do we not know how each other handles things during certain times during that reproductive cycle? Why are we not informing ourselves when we face these things in real time every
Mhm.
single day?
Mhm.
Which I know there's a lot of life going on outside of us. Got to figure that stuff out too. But nobody said adulthood was fun. They didn't tell me
Or that is, or that it's easy.
that is
So,
easy, right?
I think the problem is because we have labeled these conversations taboo. I always say in the church or in our spiritual communities, nobody wants to talk about sex, but everybody is,
Right, right.
but nobody wants to talk about it. There was a young lady who used to attend MHG, and she said to me one time, she said, "Yeah, in church, somebody would show up with a baby next to them. One day they sitting there and they by themselves, and all of a sudden the baby pops up next to them, and nobody says anything. Nobody know where that baby came from, and nobody says anything. Don't say nothing about it. Don't you know?"
Yeah.
And
Talk.
it's like if we don't talk about it, it's almost like it doesn't exist. So
Yeah.
it's like some things we don't. Why do we need to talk about that? You know, and you will have people who will say that. Why do we need to talk about that? Because we need clarity, and the more information we can give, especially to our downline generation, the
Yes.
more power, the more we empower them to be able to live an informative life. And
Yes.
this is where a lot of us err, because we don't have enough information.
Yes.
Have enough. And it was just like with Adam and Hava, Hasatan, that or the serpent said what to her? You won't surely die. That wasn't enough information. He left off one word, today.
Yes.
I bet if he had added, girl, you won't die today. She'd been like, today. I mean, I might die tomorrow. I mean, you
Yes.
know what? That today, that one word
Right.
makes a difference.
So
But what we will tend to do in our society, we will make conversations taboo. Oh, we don't need to talk about that.
right, exactly. And on that note, that's my next point.
Yeah.
Great segue. Thanks, Mom. So, my entire point in all of this, I guess, realm of or I guess topic. Sorry, is that communication is key. That is not a foreign concept by any stretch. Um, inform Communication is key in any relationship. So that's with you and your boss, that's with you and your spouse, that's with you and your children, that's with you and your siblings, you and whoever, you and yourself.
Right.
Okay, communication is key. So the words and the terms and the phrases that we use on a daily basis are so important, because our intentional and responsible usage of language and phrases
Mhm.
shape the world that we live in. They
Mhm.
really do. And those intentional usages can be the bedrock of change.
Absolutely.
How often do we say, I don't like XYZ? I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. But you never do anything about it.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
We know what comes next. Do something about it.
Something about it.
Once you've had the gumption to speak it, now let's do something about it. So that's what's happening now.
Yeah.
I don't like this word seed being used as semen, or I
See,
don't like semen being used as seed.
see.
So here's what I'm doing about it. I'm going to inform. All right. So that beautiful segue from my mom, Genesis chapter 3, verses 4 and 5 reads, "And the Nachash said to the woman, You shall certainly not die. For Elohim knows that in the day you eat of it, your eyes shall be opened, and you shall be like Elohim, knowing good and evil."
Mhm.
So my question is, was the Nakash lying? Was the serpent lying?
Mm-mm.
No,
He wasn't.
technically not.
No.
Technically
He
not.
told the truth.
But he left out just a little bit enough, just a little bit of misinformation that informed a life and death decision.
That's
That's
right.
right. That's right.
That little bit of misinformation informed a life and death decision.
Mhm.
So, using the word seed to exclusively describe the male gametes or the male reproductive cell is, sorry, get my points. It's not just inaccurate, okay? It is also extremely dismissive
Yeah.
of the weight
Yeah.
of pregnancy,
Correct.
childbirth, and then
Correct.
child rearing.
Correct. Correct.
So a male contributes. We'll take this in a light of a commodity that none of us gets to extend or anything
Mm-hmm.
like that. Time. How long does it take to grow a baby? 10 months.
Mm-hmm. 40
10
weeks.
months.
Mm-hmm.
40 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And for the male part, that's literally, I'll say 3 to 10 seconds contribution. And that means at the end, the ejaculate, that happens 3 to 10 seconds.
It's true. I mean,
That part, the part where the sperm comes out, three to
Correct.
10 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
So 3 to 10 seconds versus 10 months.
Wow.
wow, I've never thought.
Me either.
It's
That's
true.
why I'm laughing
I feel like,
It's true.
yeah.
And you call this your seed? Your seed? No, thank you. No, sir. No, 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 no. But to say that it is extremely dismissive is my point, and to reduce the word to just a male point of view is tantamount to like saying you just don't matter.
yeah.
That's
And I know that's not what people are saying. There are men in my life, my dad, my brother, who both I love beyond words. And I know that they don't feel this way,
right.
that we don't matter. I know they think we matter. I know we matter.
Right.
But they're in the same boat in the sense that, you know, we've all been taught that the seed is the man's.
Mm-hmm.
This is the man's seed. This
Mm-hmm.
child is the man's seed.
Mm-hmm.
So my whole entire point is that it is a slippery slope from using lackadaisical terminology, vernacular terms,
Mm-hmm.
from that to an oppressive society. The
Mm-hmm.
society that says your women can't do anything, they can't be seen anywhere, they have to be barefoot and pregnant, and they have to be in the kitchen, and they can't be in the synagogue, they can't go to the temple, they can't worship, they can't do this, they can't read this book, they can't. So it's a slippery slope. You might not see it, but I'm telling you,
So
this is
that's those two.
how we get there. So
Mm-hmm.
my last little point, and then I'm gonna just contribute to the conversation. Um, my last point would be actionable items. So as men or women, men and women, both of us, I challenge us all to take a look at how and when we use the term seed. Become cognizant of when and how you use the term seed. Are you using it in a male centric way? If that's the case, let's not. So if you're speaking of reproduction, maybe try using anatomical terms.
Right.
That means the actual terms. If you're talking about reproduction, say sperm, say egg, say semen, say ovum, say zygote, say blastocyst, say any nice scientific word that refers to an egg and a sperm together, a fertilized little soon to be human. um, so the next one is, if you are speaking of lineage,
Mhm.
how about we say the children of?
Yes.
Or as I said in the beginning, I'm okay with using the term seed as, colloquialism for generations. I'm okay with it. Just
Right.
just don't sit it all on the side of the man. Okay.
Mhm.
So if you're speaking of lineage, maybe let's say children of. Ah,
Mhm.
that's what they are.
Right. Right.
Um, Now, if you're speaking about the right to legacy, say that.
Mm.
Correct.
If you're
Correct.
speaking about the right to legacy, say
Mhm.
that. If you're talking about all of the things that your children will inherit after your time is on this earth is done, if
Mhm.
you're talking about that, then let's say the right to legacy. Instead of saying the seed is from the man,
Right.
the seed is from the man, let's say the man has the right to legacy.
Mhm.
The man has the right to legacy. I mean, we see that all through scriptures, which
Right.
it is what it is.
Right.
Right.
But this, I believe, these actionable items will do wonders for our society. It will mean more to your daughters and your sons and their wives and their children than I think we could ever truly know.
Mhm.
So that's all I have for like points. Uh,
You think?
That was great. Let me tell you, just quickly, I wanted to say, first of all, I am very proud right now.
I know you are.
I'm a Ima Gia. That means proud, proud mama. Um, so the terminology is so important,
It is.
and the words that we use. And um, I think that the other words don't like to be used because they sound, and I'm gonna use a term from when we were kids, they sound nasty
Right.
or they sound inappropriate
Yeah. Yeah.
in a spiritual
It is what it is, though.
assembly community. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Just like I said, sex is everybody having sex, but nobody want to talk about it. So it's really, really important to be able to um speak those words. It's just like so funny when somebody would say they would be preaching in a church or something or saying something and somebody say, you're going to hell, and people say,
Ooh.
Bible. It's in the Bible. I mean, just we take these things. It says that Samson took a jawbone of an ass and beat oh, don't say that word.
Oh,
It's like it's in the Bible. I think we get so caught up on the words, and we feel like they're not appropriate or nasty,
right.
and then it takes our mind to, and I guess that's the world that we live in.
Yeah.
But I think we need to become more comfortable with those things, that just being able to express it properly. and using the proper terminology. That is so important. And thank you, Lori, for putting those words. But we're gonna need you to bring those to say those words again, so we can, because I love legacy. Because when we talk about even legacy, we see parts in the scripture when nobody likes to talk about Dinah, the daughter of Yaakov, having a legacy, and is mentioned in the book of Numbers, her lineage. And that would be absolutely correct, because she was one of the son of the daughter of the seed of Yaakov.
Yes.
And she has a legacy in the book of Numbers, because she has a whole line. And just because she's a daughter, she is not left out, but she is spoken of in the book of Numbers, going as they are numbered to go into the into the land, or numbered for war.
And can I say, man, I'm sorry, my brain was kind of going a little bit, but I am for anyone that doesn't know, I also am a huge like language nerd and just communication nerd. It has always fascinated me how we communicate with one another, how I convey a message, what I need to say to someone else, how they receive the message. So all of that is really, really, really fascinating to me. And the fact that the words we use are shaping our reality. I won't even get into the physics of that. It's it's a very, very real and measurable thing. If you told someone every single day that they were if that they were ugly, said every single day, "You're ugly." Every single day, "You're ugly. You're ugly. Ugh, you're ugly. Ooh, you're ugly." I'm talking from birth all the way up until that person will absolutely believe that they are ugly. They will believe that. Or same thing with dumb. You're dumb. You're dumb. You're dumb. Every single day for your entire life, you will believe that you are dumb. Your actions will then show that you are not living up to your full potential, because that thing is blocking you. That phrase, that term, those words are blocking you.
So how do we get the people to, specifically the men? Oh, we actually double. I don't know why we echo. Is it okay? Can y'all hear me?
That's better.
Okay. So how do we get, because our spiritual communities are so male dominated, right? So we're going to deal with our Hebraic faith, um, the Black people returning to Torah. Let's deal with that. And we see this cry for unity. And I used to be really like gun ho on unity, and I know unity is right, but y'all know we got to be mentally healthy. That brings me to this point, because when we are not studying to have this information, and our men are returning to Torah, but they are returning from a place of hurt and trauma. And so when they are speaking about the scriptures and they're not really studied, they don't want to take the time to like investigate the scripture like we are supposed to do, since they are the head. And they're crying out for unity, but it's not working because we have a lot of misinformation, as we are talking about today. And I don't care how much I love everybody, I don't care how many Facebook posts y'all put up, how many YouTube videos you put up, how many TikTok videos you put up about unifying the nation. If we don't first get the information that we need to teach the community so that we can be unified and to heal, this is just going to be, I don't know, an ongoing generational thing that we just gonna keep talking about. And we're cutting heavy because this is the year to do it. And I understand what year we are, what year we are in, and I'm not gonna say it because I don't want no uproar. We are not feminists. So let's I know because I was being accused of going in a feminist way. First of all, feminist is for another set of people. That was never designed for us. So feminism don't have nothing to do with us. So I'm dealing with us because this is really a topic that people would be like, oh, that's a good word. No, this is not about it being a good word. This is about how do we correct the misinformation. And remember, we're dominated right now in leadership by men who who I'm not saying they're malicious with this. They have been taught misogynistic terms just like we have been taught misogynistic terms. So men, do not think that I am saying that you are just doing this on purpose, but I'm saying that as women we are bringing this out because this is the prophetic time to do it, and I know that it is because the tables are turning all over the world, not even just in our faith community. People that are atheists, they are crying out, we're tired. Women are tired of being strong. We're tired of, so you hear the cry, right? And so the cry of the woman is coming forth, and Yah himself is listening. And so he is putting this on the table, not because he love us more than he loved men right now. It is because we have been entrusted, and as Lori put it, that seed, we birthing and nurturing and doing a whole lot for 10 months. And then when the seed come out, we still breastfeeding for years. And the baby, what the Bible keeps saying, they have to be weaned. And so we see our patriarchs waiting for the baby to be weaned. There were ceremonies about when the child was weaned. There were celebrations behind that, y'all. So with this type of misinformation going on, how are we really going to rectify it? Because we're women. And I know people like, they just a bunch of women on there sitting talking. But this is really good information. We have to use the correct terminology. And y'all know, now that I'm in the teaching field, I was just so sad today, right? I'm teaching immigrants English.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
They can speak better English and understand better English than we do. And I was sitting there sad. I'm serious. It was overwhelming because I teach children and I teach adults and I teach a range of ages. And I'm saying they are telling me I need to understand English so I can communicate correctly. And I'm sitting here like, I wish our people would feel the same way so that we can communicate correctly and lay aside all of the dogma. And when you hear stuff like this, especially for men, that you all start having these conversations within our congregations and synagogues. But people just, go back, and we just go back to doing what we have been doing. So, my prayer is that because the men are the head and they believe that, and they are returning to take their rightful places, but there's a lot of misinformation that they are giving out because they come in, they like, y'all women, the feminist movement, y'all move over because we return it back to Torah and your mindset, and we the head, and y'all sit down. We got this, and that's when they make us cover our head, and we got to dress like pilgrims, and we got to sit down and shut up, and we can't read a book, and we can't do all of that. And, but they don't understand you're operating in that misogynistic governing spirit that's in this earth, but you got to break out of it, and now is the time. This conversation is very important, and I don't know if we need to put a PDF and send it out to people, but then they think we're being facetious. No, words matter.
Right.
Words manifest. Words are powerful. In the beginning, Yahweh spoke.
Exactly.
That this misinformation is so powerful. You don't understand the realms of consequences that we have put on ourselves by using incorrect words. It don't matter what we think. It matters what has manifested in our communities, especially
Absolutely. You know, I was thinking about, and this happened to me some years ago, when we came into the walk of the Torah. You know, we began to recite certain things, and I remember in my husband would speak, you know, Proverbs 31 over me at the opening of the Sabbath. And then I would speak Psalm 1 over him. And what used to bother me every time when he would say, and on her lips is the Torah of kindness. And I thought, and people would tell me, you know, you're really not a kind, you're not a kind person.
Aw.
And I would say, yeah. That's just not my nature to be kind. I'm just not going to be the one to walk down the street and say, hello, good morning.
You know what? That's not a word that's not properly.
But that is not a word.
Not always people, because one of the fruit is gentleness. You know,
but that's not that's not the word that it translates to in that Proverbs 31. The word is loving commitment, and it says, and in her mouth is the word of loving commitment, not the Torah of kindness, but the Torah of loving commitment. Boy, talking about liberated and freedom when I realized that. Because I thought, Father, okay, how do I be a kinder person? And I'm like, oh, okay. You know, when you try
that's
to be
not always kind either. Even that word kindness.
Because it's not me. I am not trying to walk around and be like, hee hee ha ha, everything is good. That is not my nature to do that. And not saying that I'm a mean person, but I'm not what people will classify as kind or nice, you know. But when I saw that as the Torah of loving commitment, there you go. I'm like, that's me. The word of loving commitment. Because when I love hard, and that commitment is there in that love for what I'm supposed to be doing concerning loving my fellow man, taking care of my responsibilities as a human being, towards my brother and my sister, being that loving, committed wife to my husband, being that loving and committed mother to my children, being that loving, committed assembly leader to my congregation, being that loving and committed even to my co-workers at work and people who I might come into contact with. And I could relate to that. And I said, now, why would they not put that in there as that? Why would they put it in there? There we go, with wanting the woman to be a certain way.
Yes.
And I'm sure that Deborah, the judge, was not sounding very nice to Caesarea when she said to him, if I go with you, sir, guess what? Father is not going to put that man into your hands. He is not going to deliver him into your hands, but he's going to deliver him into the hands of a woman.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't say that nice. I don't believe that Sarah was nice when she was speaking to Abraham and said, get that woman and her kid out of my house.
Out.
She didn't say that nice. She didn't. She saw her son, her Ishmael, Hagar's son, sitting there during the time celebration of Ishak being weaned, and him acting like he's pulling back a bow and arrow and shooting his brother. Sarah, don't tell me that woman said, oh, please, Abraham, master, please send her away.
Right.
No, Sarah ain't said that. Sarah probably said, get that witch out my house. She better be gone in the morning. Her and her kid.
Yep.
That doesn't mean that Sarah wasn't nice.
That's right.
That doesn't mean that she wasn't lovingly committed to her husband and to her family and to her. No, she saw danger concerning her son and spoke to it. And I don't know any woman, black, white, Asian, no, Hispanic. I don't know any woman that would have sat there and would have been like, please, my master, please take her away. No, she didn't say that. I don't care what anybody says. She didn't say that. I don't believe it.
And what did the Most High said? Told him to listen to his wife.
That's right.
Yeah.
Listen to her. Sure.
The Holy Spirit, because I think both of y'all getting ready to get put out.
Everybody in trouble.
Abraham, I think you better put her out, or you
go. Yep.
She wasn't nice. That was not being said. And so when we talk
what was
about
Sarah, was she truly that helpmeet? Was she saw danger?
Yeah.
She saw that it was something that was vital that needed to be dealt with immediately.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's right. And look what occurred. So when we look at those, there's the words, there's communication. So that word being, and the Torah of kindness, or the word of nicety or kindness is on her lips. You know, it makes us think a different way.
Yeah.
And if that's not your personality, then you think, okay, I have to change my personality because, and what we got to have to realize too is that Father Yah makes us the way that we are for the purpose that we are put in the earth.
Exactly.
And not all of us have that quiet and wonderful, just quiet spirit to be able to. I don't have that.
Well, you know what? I believe even those who like different ones say, well, yeah, I'm so kind, I'm so, and my husband used to say, he said, you don't know my wife. You don't know my wife because she will straighten you, but I do it in a way, a direct way. And and I think that's kind because that's why I said even that word is not properly, because I don't think nice just means, oh, or you just say it, or you talk a little. Kind means you're direct, and and it's like you're not being hateful.
Right.
Because you know what, we got to tell the truth. We got to, it's the way we do, things. Like, in essence, like I said, people like, oh, you speak. Listen, if I see danger, I remember when we were caretakers of my mother-in-law in the home attendant, and I seen things that wasn't handled. And even when I was in the truck, I
Right.
used to be like, oh, don't.
Right.
No, you got to be direct, and you got to. That doesn't take away not being kind. You're
Right.
telling things. You got to be in.
That's correct.
It depends on situations and circumstances.
Absolutely. And that's where we have, that's part of that promise of that enmity will between you, the woman, and her seed. So anything that we come into contact with that's not right,
That's not right.
we are supposed to
That's right.
look. The word tells us to cry aloud, spare not. Tell my people of their transgressions. When Ezekiel, look, Isaiah walked around for 3.5 years naked. You think that was offensive to somebody in Israel?
Mm-hmm.
You think?
Yeah, it was.
I,
No, it was.
Ezekiel, Elijah. But what Ezekiel? Ezekiel was told to sit and lay on his side and not get up, and he was told to cook his food and with dung and burn dung. You can only imagine what that smelled like.
Yeah.
They probably was calling him the stinky prophet.
Likely.
Yeah.
They were not liked. Jeremiah, they kept throwing him in prison. They kept throwing him in a dungeon.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so we know. And then the prophet, who's the other prophet that they killed between the holy place, or between within the temple courtyard, that they shot him between in the temple courtyard because they were so upset with him because he was bringing bad witness to them. They were like, let's just get rid of him.
Think about Isaiah. Isaiah spoke truth, and look, he's the one said, yeah, cry aloud, spare lot. And was he not cut in sunder? He was cut in half.
Absolutely. That's right.
Yeah.
So,
So, oh, sorry.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
with all of that being said, so a little bit of persecution should be expected. So if we're getting persecuted, that means I'm speaking the truth.
There
Hello.
There you go.
So, if I can just circle back to Christina's questions,
yes.
how
What
do
to do?
we?
Mhm.
Yeah, and I would say this is it. Pull out the dictionary, get some
Right.
definitions,
Right.
set a baseline,
Right.
communicate,
Uh-huh.
give factual information. We
Right.
all have our opinions. We all have our own world views. We all have our own experiences.
Right.
But good gracious, can we just set some things as the standard? This is good. This is bad.
Right.
And
Right.
then help one another. So what I realized in past relationships, I'll say, is that if if someone brings something to me and I don't like the way they say it, like the way you start off, my defenses are up, period.
Right.
And I'm not going to hear anything you say. I'm not going to do what you asked me to do. I'm not going to feel any nice, fuzzy feelings for you. I am defensive. I am going to defend myself, my actions, my thoughts, my whatever. It's all about me. So I think in this time of zipping and unzipping, well, unzipping and zipping, we will really have to actually listen. So I would love to, I'm going to bring this up to somebody, I don't know, somewhere, but I would love to be able to have a session with men giving their experiences with us, because we are not perfect. And I don't ever think that I'm perfect. As women, we got our own stuff going on. And that's way back in the beginning, Christina was saying, we need healing. Healing is what we all need. So my desire is that we can present information in such a way that it doesn't raise a red flag. It doesn't cause those defensive hackles. It doesn't cause you to tense up and, you know, do your brow like this. And I want to give the information. When you say this, these are the things that happen after that. This is how it makes me feel. This is how it makes my daughter feel. This is how it makes my sisters feel. When you say that, when you do that, let me share with you, because otherwise they don't know. How can I ever, ever, ever be completely empathetic to a blind person's plight?
Right.
How can I ever be, unless, Father, please no, but unless I one day become blind? Only if you become blind do you really know what it means to live the daily life of a person without sight. You can feel for them. You can, try to help out and say, well, no, that's a 20. You only need a 5, or whatever it is. So my thing is, if I can be transparent for a second and say that I struggle with listening and hearing what they are actually saying, not hearing what my filter wants to hear. So that's something I have a problem with, and I'm working on that specifically, hearing what they said and not with a filter. So that's what I think we really, really need to get from each other: giving information, factual information, and listening without filters. Understanding that this person is a completely different person and they have completely different life experiences than I do. Men, this is what happens when you say, I carry the seed. This is what happens. Women's health care just degrades, it goes away because men carry the seed. Okay? Women have no rights. Women can't have bank accounts. Women can't buy a house. Women can't file for a divorce from an abusive husband because men carry the seed. It all leads back to the language that we choose to use and how we internalize the language that others use towards us.
Correct. That's a domino. It becomes a domino effect.
Yeah.
Exactly.
About because I mean that's something, and we're talking about, we want unity, we want to understand one another, and
Yes.
just speaking on a personal note, because like even as a conversations with my husband, he used to say, "You're listening at me, you're not listening to me," and that's what we tend to do, and
Yeah.
so I
Listen to respond.
I have made that, in James, I believe it's James, the first chapter, it says, be quick to hear.
Here.
That has become my motto. Sometimes we got to take, I mean, it can be from different things, but that verse of scripture is something where even now, as being, counseling other people, I've learned that is so, so important. Being quick to hear and slow to speak. Because if you're quick to hear, you are tuned into what that person is saying. Because if you're quick to hear and slow to speak, sometimes when we're not slow to speak, we're not truly listening because we have preconceived, we already got what we want to say. So we're not even listening. We're listening at the person. But when you're quick to hear them and slow to speak, you're not looking to react. but you'll learn listening whether you need to counteract, or just learning to hear them. And as it says in James, be quick to hear, slow to speak, and slow to what? Wrath. Because that's when wrath, all kind of emotions and all kind of things stir up,
Right.
because there's a communication breakdown. You
Right.
didn't really listen.
Right.
But if you're quick to hear them out, hear the whole thing
Yeah.
before you come with any thoughts, and let that, as you're quick to hear, you're processing it,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
processing what they're saying, and where you get to understand what they're saying. And now, you won't be quick to react or anything, because you've listened. And sometimes there's not even anything because then you'll understand. And it, just as she mentioned, understand what the actual, like she was saying, this is how I'm feeling. And just as she spoke this evening, what Lori spoke brought out volumes. I mean, truly listening to what she said, I believe on both genders, if we truly listen to what was brought out tonight, we'll see a different community, and we'll learn to deal with the issues that we have dealt with, or what we have preconceived, and what we have thought and gendered, and have created what we, where it comes to, like she said, unzipper, realign, and then zipper, where we can come together, and then we're able to commune because we're understanding even better. I love it. Excellent, excellent.
That was good. And that's something for the men that are listening, and they may listen to the broadcast. We have a mental wellness group, and everything that Prophet is saying, we have been practicing this whole month, and it's called Quiet Power. Now, it's not about, I stress that this is not about speaking softly and gently. It's about everything that we're saying, being direct, with our words, being slow to speak and quick to hear, learning how to be empathetic. We have been working on that all month because, as we said, we women have our own baggage, and we know we can pop. We spicy, and
Uh-oh.
and we are working on that. So I want to put that out there, that behind the scenes, I have a mental wellness group, and the women, and sometimes it's very challenging for us as Black women to operate in that. But we are trying. And so we want to be the first to say, hey, we are putting this into practice. We're not just pointing the finger. We are working behind the scenes, but we want to be heard when we are in our congregations, when we are in our midrashes / Bible study, Shabbat, that when we say, hey, maybe we need to look at it like this, and not to be shot down because, as we keep saying, it's dismissive to us when we cannot express ourselves. And one of the safest places on earth should be inside of the Shabbat and inside of the midrashes. We should feel really safe. We should not be dismissed. So we are working on that. As Black women, I know we're a little spicy, we're a little emotional, but we are healing. We want to be healed, and that's just not in the faith community. I follow a lot of channels on YouTube where women are saying, "I'm tired of being strong. I'm tired of being masculine." So this is something that I believe Yahweh is doing, because you see it throughout. It's not isolated to the Black Hebrew Israelite movement. This is out. So you hear the cry, and we are just, and it's not just geared toward men, because remember, women gatekeep type of uh, attitude, whatever you want to call it. We gatekeep it because we think that that is how it's supposed to be. Um, Toxic submission, which keeps us from learning and being able to say, hey, we have a point of view. Can you hear us? Toxic submission. And that's another word. I'm like, could they pick a better word than that? That's another word that I'm like, we need another word, because in the Hebrew,
I got a word for you.
what is
Trust.
it? Okay.
Because if they were to say, I want a trusting wife, automatically he going to think, oh, I have to be trustworthy.
Yes.
Right,
So,
right,
I want
right.
a trusting wife.
That's
Are
not.
you trustworthy?
Yeah.
Because in order for me to submit,
Yep.
I have to trust.
And
Right.
another word that hurts us too, that I can't, I'm still searching, is modesty in the Hebrew. I was really trying to search that word out, and I'm like, what? Okay, we need better words.
Yes. So I'm sorry. Go ahead. You said
With modesty, just English words, not what it actually means, but the way that the English that we use modesty and submission, it's not in line with
lining up.
the scripture, right? It's just not lining up. And so this is what we mean by having a very misogynistic society, and that's governing us. And so we're using words that literally hurt us, because
Yes.
it's misinformation, and we're just using it because the English language, I mean, is what we got right now. But
And it's
as
so flat.
as people of Torah, we have to get back to the biblical language, at least, and look
Right.
at what it is saying and what it is not.
Correct. And so, you know, and this is the problem that I have. This is my challenge. When people use words like that and try to relate it to how you look, modest. You know, because that's so subjective.
Yes.
Because some people will look at a person and say, yeah, I think she's modest. And then some will look at the same person and say, oh no, she is not modest.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So we're using words. I think we're using words for the wrong thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I think we don't have a standard for what each word means. We
and
don't have a solid definition for it that we all agree on. It's just we use this word because it makes me feel this way.
right, and it's crazy because I'm still trying to figure out what people mean by righteous dress. What does that mean?
Ah.
Because someone can look at someone and say, like I said, oh yeah, they're dressed righteous, but their thought of righteous dress is maybe a long, for men, a long tunic or dress like looking top with, some pants underneath that kind of has a, kind of look like a little biblical or African kind of garb. And then you might have another man walk in who may have on a suit, a business suit with a tie. And then when someone say, oh yeah, he's not dressed righteously.
But what is
So
the definition?
yeah, what
That
because the word righteous is not ever related to what your clothing.
show light. That's what I
Not from a Torah standpoint. It has nothing to do with your clothing.
Mm.
It has all, and it's the same thing with modest. When we look at modest from what it's speaking of in the Brit Hadashah or the renewed covenant, the new covenant, that is when it's talking about how a woman is supposed to be on the inside is more important than how you are adorning yourself on the outside. You can be adorned beautifully on the outside, but have a horrible disposition. That's what it's talking about. It is not talking about whether you got on if your dress collar is all the way up to here, you look like a pilgrim. Your sleeves all the way down here, and a dress all the way down to your ankles. But we've taken words like righteous and modest and those things and put them into trying to make a dress code out of those.
Yep.
I
But
have the definition.
Okay.
Yeah. So the definition for modest, regarding dress, it says dressing or behaving so as to avoid impropriety or indecency, especially to avoid attracting sexual attention, typically used of a woman,
See,
according to Oxford Dictionary.
it's misogynistic. That is just
Father.
be modest, because some of y'all men come up in the fellowship. Listen, pull your pants up. Your pants be too tight.
Pants all the way down. I got to look at underwear and all of that.
Yeah,
But that's okay.
that's not cute.
No, it's not. It's very offensive. Very offensive. But see, and that's Oxford. We need to change that too. We need to write them on that one because that's not correct. Because when you talk about being modest, number one, I can blow that out the water with the number of nuns in the city of New York that have been raped with full habits on.
Yep.
Mm, 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 mm,
Yep.
mm, mm.
Let's talk about the number of Muslim or Islamic women who have been raped
Yes.
with full hijab on,
You can't even.
eyes showing.
Yeah.
Tell me how
Crazy.
she sexually
Mhm.
seduced you with her dress.
It's a way
Showing
of
number of eyes.
escaping control. You won't control yourself,
That's
so
right.
you'll try to control me.
That's right.
You won't control your eyes,
All
Right.
about
so you'll try to control me.
all about control.
Mhm.
So that word, it's just not. It's not. So
In
give us
essence, modesty has to come within
Yes.
or it can go without.
Our lifestyle.
Same way as even the erection of the tabernacle or the
Right.
Mishkan. What was it? It began with the what? The inner, those of the things within. Am I right?
Yes.
Correct. And that worked out.
And then it worked out. And that's the same as us. Modesty must first begin within. Then that, and it will shine forth from the outside. Am I right? You know what I'm saying?
That's
So
right.
it must first begin. So just telling someone, oh, well, modesty, because it has to have, and as you said, righteous, it has something, it all starts within. It's within us, our mindset,
Correct.
and this is what the word does. This is what Torah, it's, the ruah of Torah, it's supposed to what? Transform us, because we are the temples. And is that not what the word says? We are the temple of the living. So if we're the temple,
Right.
what just as the natural, so is the spiritual, and so is us. It must first begin inwardly.
Inward.
Once
And
inwardly, it's going to shine. I won't have that. Oh, I'm looking on. It has to be within. It has to be within.
And
it is within. If you have the spirit within, the spirit is going to tell you that doesn't look appropriate.
There you go. That's
May
what I'm
cause
talking about.
unwanted
Attention.
attention.
Look at the Pharisees. What did they say? Outwardly, they what?
They
But
were
what's going on inside?
whitewashed tombs. They were like
Well,
whitewashed
what did Mashiach
dead
say?
man bones.
Dead man bones. Am I right? That's what he said, and he said you're hypocrites.
Yep.
Right.
Mhm.
And who was their father?
And,
They were teachers. Am I right?
Yep.
mhm.
Claim
They
to
had
be
the
righteous.
Lego, but they sure didn't have the ruach.
Claim to
Right.
be righteous.
And can I, at this juncture, bring up our good old patriarch Judah, who went to shear his sheep and
Well,
found
well,
a fully covered
I mean, for real.
prostitute.
free,
Fully covered prostitute.
fully
He
covered.
knew she was a prostitute because she
And
was
she was
fully
a
covered.
prostitute. Fully covered.
And then, after the whole matter had happened, Judah says, "She is more righteous than I."
But he said,
That's
his
So
word, not ours.
what he said.
that's what he said. And here's the thing: if it were the case that men didn't want to see women's bodies, we wouldn't be showing our bodies.
Mm-hmm.
True.
We wouldn't show it at all. None whatsoever, ever.
Right.
If you didn't want to see it and you
Mhm.
said, ew, gross, gross, every
We would
single time,
We would never.
we would be covered up. So the
Right.
fact that we choose, or, some women, whatever, whoever, chooses to dress, I'll say, scantily,
Uh-huh.
it's because they're trying to get something from the men.
Yeah.
But, I've got a guy friend that told me once, a man will be distracted if he lets himself be distracted.
Well,
Oh, okay. So if a woman walks into the room butt naked and you say, "Oh my goodness, are you okay? Here, let me get you a blanket. Here's my coat. Oh my gosh, are you hungry? Do you need some water? Are you?" And then go on about their business, call social services, whatever they need to do. Did that man sin?
no.
No. If what was in his heart came out,
That's
it
right.
came out. The
Right.
help
The
came out.
health part. Right.
But
right.
if you look at it and be like, oh, I'm not gonna look over there. I'm
Whoa.
not gonna look over there.
Right.
I'm not gonna look over there. What was in your heart came out.
That's
Control yourself. You can't control me.
right.
And and my husband always says, we are commanded. Messiah commands us as men that if we look on another woman with lust in our hearts, that we have already committed adultery
Mm-hmm.
in our hearts. If we look on, so he would say, so if a woman walks up to me buck naked, I am required to not look at her with lust. That's on me.
Yeah.
He said that's not on anybody else. That's not on the woman walking up to me naked. That's on me to not look at her with lust. No matter how she walks up to me, Messiah is commanding me
Yes.
to have control over my body and over my eyes. But what has happened in our society is that all of the fault and the blame is put on the other side. And then there's no accountability on this side. And then we have even the gatekeepers that will say, girl, well, a man will be a man. What did she do? She enticed him. Because a man is gonna be a man. That's what we've lived with. So we've lived with pastors, preachers, bishops, shepherds, doing all kind of unseemly things and going completely not living unrighteous lives, getting caught up in all kind of precarious situations, in adulterous affairs, going throughout their assemblies like that's their harem or something.
Right. Sick.
And then they will still have an assembly. And then the women in the assembly will say, Pastor is still a man.
Yeah.
He's still a man.
They do.
A man. And I tell somebody said that to me one time. They said their dad had a problem with the person, and the mama said, "Well, your dad is still a man." I said, "Well, he needs to get another job. He don't need to be a pastor. That's not a good job for him.
Right.
Then he needs to get another profession
That's
because that profession causes him to live righteous
true. Hmm.
and not be an adulterer. So if he sees he can't do that, then he needs to step down and get another profession."
It's
Yeah.
true.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess I guess we
So did you read the definition of righteous?
Oh, I
You
did
did
not
modesty. You did modesty.
hmm
get modest.
So as it relates to, I don't know if they'll relate to dress. People always relate it to dress, but I don't know.
Righteous is something within that has.
Right.
Um, so the definition of mm, righteous is morally right or justifiable or virtuous. So morally right or justifiable and virtuous.
Okay. Hmm.
So that has nothing to do with dress at all.
Dress. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's having a certain a discipline.
hmm
Yeah.
Right. And a discipline of a walk.
Right.
That's
But
exactly what it
it
is.
has nothing to do with your. So if you have a discipline of a righteous walk, that's going. I go back to that. It's going to be the Holy Spirit that tells you that it, how what is appropriate and what's not appropriate. You know, or even if you know it.
Yeah.
We just can't use. I think I'm just completely satisfied in not using those words as relating them to clothing.
No.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, the way a person dresses and how someone feels about it is so subjective.
Right.
Yeah.
And there can be so many different variables why the person either likes the way that you dress or does not like the way that you dress. And it may have absolutely nothing to do with a thought of righteousness or modesty.
Mm-hmm.
It's just too vague. It's just too, because it's just too out there. And there's assemblies and um, groups in institutions of churches, religious or spiritual organizations that have whole dress codes,
hmm
um, and and 3/4, 95% of the dress code will be geared towards the women,
Yeah.
True.
not
Yeah.
even relating or considering, you know, that male counterpart, the man, and how he dresses.
Can I read my last little sentence that I wrote? I'm very proud of my sentence. So if
Yes.
I can do that. It actually ties in so to oxtail on your point.
Great.
Um, in order for us to move into a space of truly valuing equality and equity,
Mm-hmm.
we must start using language that honors the full reality
Mm-hmm.
of the creation of life. That's my sentence. But equality and equity are both needed.
Yes.
So I understand that there is a plight that man has had to fight from the beginning. I understand that, their eyes are something special. Their
Right.
eyes are not like our eyes.
No.
I'm not going to say I get it, but I'm sympathetic to that.
Yeah.
Correct.
So I am not going to be one to have
Right.
all my stuff out,
Right.
and so
Right.
that's me trying. That's me trying to help you.
Mhm.
But for you to say, "Oh, your help is not enough. You need all of that covered. Cover everything except your eyes." That's a no-go. That's a
No.
no-go.
Right.
Because that is not equality nor equity.
Right. Correct.
So just to define those two, equality is saying everybody gets the same thing. Everybody gets the same thing. Everybody gets the Torah. Everybody gets the Torah.
Mhm.
Equity is everybody gets what they need.
Mhm.
That is,
Correct.
the woman gets 7 days a month
Absolutely.
to relax.
Right.
That's equity. She gets what she needs.
Absolutely.
The man, I'm trying to think of one for the man where it's only the men. I can think of some, but I don't want to say it. So I'm going to leave it there.
Don't say it. Because I can think of one too.
At least a couple. I was thinking about the crushed testicle you can't serve in the temple.
Oh yeah.
But I don't
Yeah.
know if that would technically be a like a need. But either way, I'm saying equality and equity are both necessary for a happy and healthy society. We all need what we need
Yes.
because we are different.
Right.
But we
Right.
are all human, so we need some of the same things.
Some of the right.
And all I'm asking is that we stop using terms, that we just begin to move away from the old ideas and the old misconceptions that women are the problem for everything, and everything good is, from a man. Let's move away from that. The man does not carry the seed. The woman technically carries the seed. I mean, uterus literally carries the seed.
Literally.
Literally.
Literally. Yeah.
The man carries the right to legacy. The woman carries the seed. The seed is both together, sperm and egg.
Mm-hmm.
Sperm, egg. Complete human.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Beautiful.
And what are give us some of those other words that you use before we leave?
Let's
Say
see.
semen or
Yeah.
instead of
Seed. Semen is not seed.
right.
Well, I
So
think that was clarified throughout. Yeah.
the definitions or
The
the
words you said words that we should use instead of
phrases, yes.
great. Correct. Correct. Correct.
So
Good.
now
Yes.
my little program has decided to quit on me.
Oh
And
no.
And
Because
I want an email too. I want because I
put
want
them
to
in the put
a
them in the chat.
video on it. Yeah.
I can do that.
Yep.
But I will say the idea was, instead of seed, if you're talking about reproduction, use sperm or egg.
Mm-hmm.
If you're talking about the right to legacy, use that term, the right to legacy.
Let's see. Mm-hmm.
If you're talking about, the third one was children
Mm-hmm.
It can be
or
used.
generations.
Right.
Use generations or children of.
Yes. Right.
So those were the three that I thought
Yeah.
of.
Okay.
Yeah. That's a good one. I'm gonna definitely do a short video on that. Just for my children's sake. I need for them to understand
Right.
the differences and don't pick up that mindset, because that's one thing
Right.
that I am adamant about, us being educated
Correct.
on things that we know we should be educated on. Like, you don't have to have a degree. But I don't care if you're a janitor. I ingrained this in my children. I don't care if you're a janitor. You better know the chemicals. You better know the products. You better know what a broom does. You better know it inside and out.
Yes.
That's what you
That's
better do.
correct.
Educate yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Educate yourself. True. So true.
We're gonna
Okay.
we're gonna do that. Post it up on our social
Instead of
media.
janitor, what is a custodian? Something else.
I know custodian, custodian technician. But really, you don't want to mix chemicals. I mean, I come from old school where we mix bleach and Pine-Sol and ammonia together, and that's not.
He passed out in the bathroom.
So,
That's disastrous.
man, it'd be it's when it's clean. I've done it in the church.
Yeah. Eyes start burning.
There you go.
Your
Where-
yeah, the chat.
Yeah, yes.
Oh yes.
She said, thank you, sisters, for this very informative and needed conversation.
Yes.
Appreciate every perspective. Shalom. Yes. Thank
That
you
is awesome.
for
Shalom.
supporting.
Shalom.
Shalom. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we can go ahead and do our closing statements here, right here. That was thank you, Lori, so
Yes.
much again for coming
Good.
and giving us this information. So important for us to, oh man. And as we live, I'm just gonna say really quickly, as we live over here in Ghana, I understand it's really important for communication's sake, that the words that we use, that they are understood, and that we're using the proper verbiage, especially when we want a proper reaction or something done. So I can come over here as an American and just be talking to a Ghanaian and trying to get something done. They don't understand. I'm using all of these words and phrases that we use over there, and they don't have a clue what I'm talking about. So once I figure out how they say certain things, now I need to use that verbiage so I know that they understand what I'm saying and I can get the product or the work or the reaction that I need to get from them. It's
Yeah.
all about the words that we use, the communication, and if we can get that, we're gonna see if we can work on that, because we are working on something with our with some young men, to come on a panel of young men to
Mhm.
talk about some of these things, because we want to open up. That's one of the things that we say in our opening statement: dialogue, so
Yes.
we can have a free flowing conversation, and that we not be something that's shameful or it's judged, but that we're truly trying to come to a place where we are informed and where we can move forward in a better relationship all the way around between men and women, period. So,
Yes.
Lori, thank you so much. We
Yes.
appreciate your professional um, uh, information. Thank you so much for coming on. And that was it was just very informative and very delightful. And also, it helps us to be able to know how we need to move forward in as we are, just in our verbiage. The words that we use is so important.
Absolutely. Mhm.
Yes. All right. Y'all want us to close? For me to close?
Yes.
Right, our email again is the righteousview01@gmail.com. Please send in topics, okay, y'all, that you feel would be beneficial. If you have a degree or special training in a specific area related to women's health and would like to be a special guest, please email us your bio and we will review it and reply as soon as we can.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Again, Lori, thank you. If
Yes.
you have enjoyed this podcast so far, please tune in and tell a friend. If you have put a comment in the chat that we didn't address, please email us and we will reply as soon as we can.
Yes, we want to thank you to our viewing audience for
Yes.
tuning in, and we look forward to another edition of The Righteous View. Good evening, everybody. Have a great rest of your week. Thank you so much for joining.